So I have a rough outline of a module I want to write, but right now I'm just kind of collecting monsters for it. Today I wanted to show you all the golden mushrooms. Now let's get started on that lore. So you're in an adventure wandering through the forest and you see something creepy. A standing thing formed of fungus stumbles forward, its sickening hue screaming that you should run away. You're uncomfortable and step out of its way, and it doesn't seem to see you, and it stumbles away. Common knowledge in the realms is that colorful creatures often alert predators to poison, and the golden runner is no different. This mushroom grows over animals, taking their flesh for nutrients and repurposing their muscle for their own form. With this repurposed muscle, they blindly wander away until they collapse, and then they send forth spores which can grow on any rock, but will only run again if it finds more muscle to use. Basically, it spreads using the corpses of animals as a carrying agent, or in rare cases, humans, of course. The gold tells common creatures of the realm not to approach it so it can run as far as possible before falling, though in cases where it does bump into creatures of the realm, it will normally react by releasing spores. The danger of the spores changes from person to person, but as a general rule of thumb, there is a risk of death for most animals and a decent number of humans, but players tend to be healthier folk and have a good shot at only becoming sick, which will be like a level of exhaustion, maybe 2. Holy water is known to cure the sickness early, and hints at a possible demonic origin for the growth, but such matters are unconfirmed by current scholars. Most explorers in areas where they linger have a saying, "The running gold means don't be bold," essentially a rhyme to remind them to stay out of its path. It's common to try and remove non-active cases of the growth. If it's growing on, say, a rotting log, it might be burned by someone in the forest. And the presence of the monsters is inconvenient but manageable for most frontier towns or other existing entities. And that's how the surface handles these things. However, once you move into the caves of the world, that changes a bit. Few creatures of the Underdark see in color, so is often attacked after being mistaken for general prey. This creates more runners in the Underdark, unlike other spots, and they'll generally stumble the way gravity pulls them, so they keep going down. Luckily, it can't kill most monsters in a single burst, so it's held to the upper regions of the world's caves, except for in rare cases where they take out a horde of smaller monsters and then all of those stumble into a larger monster, converting it. So it's a common inconvenience for miners and spelunkers, and it can often take over cave systems with plenty of life fairly quickly. This has led to cases of kobolds and other Underdark dwellers robbing human churches of holy water, which in addition to acting as a way to cure the disease, is one of the few ways to manipulate the fungus's behavior. This can act as an interesting quest hook where you are recovering holy water while at the same time dealing with the kobold encampment and dealing with the presence of the fungus that you also need to try and take care of to the best of your ability. Now, dwarves are resistant to poison, so the dwarves of the realm can sorta ignore the creatures, as long as they don't eat them. So as the race that can interact with them the best, they discovered something interesting. If you grab one, and then you toss it into a furnace, it can be used to make a kind of liquid gold. Not oil, but a shimmering substance, which can then be coated over weapons, making them appear far richer than they are, while not heavily modifying their capacity. This led to a hunting spree in some dwarven regions, purging them from most of the surface, which left them only really present in the abandoned dark places of the world, surging in population only when the people of the realm forget their nature, forget to remove the rot. Also, I made this one in Blender before I started running the AI art. Then I tried to make it run before realizing I have no clue how to make a believable run animation.